Another great baseball game. Just proud of our guys for hanging in there. And this, we said it last night. This time of year everybody's good and you got to play well. We played better today. I don't know if we have a guy that can get through what Elliott got through today. In the first inning with all the pressure, we give him two runs in the first, and he was just lights out. He hung in there and like aces do. He just never wavered. Continued to throw the ball into the strike zone. Continued to make big pitches. Against a really good offense. And then obviously Mitch and the rest of the hitters. Really swung it well. In a day where I thought the ball really was getting out, especially to the right side of the field. But part of that was a really good approach, I thought, by our guys against Bennett. A guy that really mixes his pitches well with changeups and breaking balls. Two different breaking balls, and I thought our guys did a great job. Staying with the approach, and just a good day by us.
Questions for players, Cass? Hunter, you said you like to pitch in big games. What was it like to have one of these in Oxford? And showed a lot of emotions with that bases loaded strikeout there in the sixth. Just what was that moment like for you?
Yeah, it was special. I think I've said it before. I grew up watching postseason games in Oxford, coming to postseason games in Oxford, and getting to experience it was truly special. The environment was really good today. The fans showed up, and we're going to need them for the rest of the weekend.
Mitchell, just what's it been like being Hunter's teammate and watching him on the stage today?
It's fun to watch. I mean, y'all have seen him pitch for a while here now, and he's a competitor. There's no better feeling than going into a game where he's on the bump. It's almost like no matter what happens throughout the game, you're always in there. You always got a chance. So to put up some runs for him today was big, and we just like having him on our team.
I guess for both of you, what worked so well for you guys today?
Yeah, I just think we were really relentless. We never gave in. Nothing really went our way early, and we just really didn't care. We know that today was an elimination game, and we weren't letting it eliminate us. We really like this group of guys, and we really want to play another day together, and we earned that.
Hunter, I'm curious what was going through your mind in the sixth. You had your 100th strikeout of the season, then they loaded the bases with 2 outs. Was it hard to control your emotions in that moment, and kind of what were you thinking about?
I was thinking about throwing the ball in the strike zone.
Did you know it was your 100th?
No, I had no idea. But that's good news. But yeah, I mean, there's not really much else you can think about other than trying to get ahead of guys, trying to get to 2 strikes as fast as possible, and trying to put them away. I knew my defense had my back, and that's really all I was thinking about. The strikeout there in the end, I think, was your next question. It was really special. It meant a lot to me, and I think that I let the emotions flow after it.
How much more comfortable did it make you today having the offense backing up every kind of answer Western Kentucky had?
Yeah, I mean, they did their thing. They've done it all year. I knew they had my back. I knew whenever I allowed the 2 spot in the first, they were going to respond. I knew when I let them tie it up in the second, they were going to respond again. I just wanted to do my job, put up zeros, get deep into the game. I really felt like we needed some length today, so I was really happy with that. And they just did their thing. I think they've hit 150 homers, it seemed like, this year, so I knew they were going to come out, and they always hit really well at Swayze.
How were you feeling when you threw 115 pitches? Does your arm hurt a little less when it's an elimination game?
My arm doesn't hurt. My arm's fine. 115, 130, I don't really care. I just want to win. I just want to advance to it tomorrow. So I was ready to go back out for the next if we need be. So no, my arm feels good.
Back middle. Mitchell, David Delstein from CBS Station in Jackson.
What's up?
I'm sure you would say that you don't care how you guys score runs, but what was it for you and for the team today, just seeing the long ball go out and making that happen?
It's more fun to see. I know that. Coach B likes it. No, I mean, we've scored in all types of ways this year. A lot of it's come from the long ball, but I mean, that's just how our offense is built. I thought we did a really good job today with not just our plan, but the attack against the pitchers today. And if it comes with a couple long balls, that's fine. But I thought we did a really nice job as offense.
Was that something that you guys were trying for, knowing something in the game plan, or it just kind of happened when you put a good swing out there?
They're always trying for it.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes when you go outside and you see that flag blowing a little bit, then you get a little antsy. But no, we did a really good job today.
Anything else for the players? All right, guys, you're good to go.
Appreciate it.
Who wants to start with Coach?
Don't forget that open mitt.
Did you think about when you get him at all after Vasquez, or are you holding on there for that extra one? Or
You know, it was kind of a tough one, you know, and a lot of things go through your mind, but the biggest thing is it's hard to take him out. It really is. And he put his hand up. I don't know if you saw that. And so we were really close, and, you know, we just, you know, part of it is not just getting off the field. I mean, that's the most important thing, and that's ultimately what kept him, you know, in the game. The other thing is knowing that we were going to bring a freshman in. Do we want to bring a freshman in, or do we want to give him one more hitter, you know, to be able to get off the field on his own? And so, you know, they're getting to the middle. That top of the lineup's tough, you know, and that's one of the reasons we. Might be a question later, is one of the reasons we went to Spence. I mean, if you look 2 through 5, I mean, they're, you know, it's like 1,100 OPS, you know, 4 guys in a row. So it's tough to navigate through that. And, you know, didn't really want to bring a freshman in, you know, in this situation with, you know, a ton of runners, you know, on base. So, you know, but ultimately the short answer is it's hard to take him out of the game.
sort of what Chase asked, but did you have a number coming in if Hunter
No.
X innings? You know, this
No, you know, he said it, and, you know, it doesn't take a baseball genius to figure out, you know, because of what happened last night, what would be nice is if you could get, you know, a lot of length, hopefully get a lead, and use some pieces that we didn't use. And for the most part, that happened, you know, beyond Spence. And so, you know, mission accomplished that, you know, for that part. But no, there was, it could be the last game of the year. So, and yeah, it's not arm soreness or stuff like that. It's just really, you know, how effective you are. And you could tell he was, you know, that he emptied his tank there today, and pretty cool, right? A kid that, you know, has said, you know, for a couple times now that, you know, he's waited for this moment, and to have that kind of outing here in an elimination game with 12,000 people in the stands, and to make, you know, a big pitch with bases loaded and get off the field, you know, it's pretty cool to watch.
So how do you think Taylor Ray responded to his moment?
Terrific. I mean, I thought he was awesome. You know, and really, we felt 2 things in the plan was we wanted to go to him. One, because, you know, he's a strike thrower. He's going to fill up the strike zone. Number 2, that the look is so much different, not just right, left, but, you know, you're going from a kind of a riding fastball or low slot fastball, changeup guy to a 6'6" guy that's a sinker baller. It's going to throw the ball in the low to mid 90s with a breaking ball and a changeup. It's just a totally different look. But the biggest thing is, you know, he showed that he will throw the ball into the strike zone, you know, even in the biggest moments. And so, no, I thought he was awesome today.
Mike, I know it was a quick turnaround last night going into today's game, but what was the message to the team knowing it's an elimination game after last night going into today?
You know, it's nothing anybody doesn't know, but somebody's going to come through the losers bracket through the 16 regionals. Somebody does every year, you know, maybe a couple teams. And, you know, we talked about that, you know, why not this? You know, people are going to tell you how hard it is. And yes, there's an easier path, you know, and that's why we went all in last night. But beyond that, you know, it's doable. You just got to win games, and, you know, try to not get too far in front to look how long the road, you know, can be, versus just win that game. And so, you know, knowing that you have your ace on the mound, and you're playing at home, I like that. that's a good matchup for us. And then we'll figure out, tomorrow's game when we get to it. But that was it. That somebody's going to do it. Why not us?
Mike, things got a little hairy in the bottom of the ninth with the winning run at the plate. What does it say about the maturity of this team to hold on and win?
We've said it now all year, but especially the last few weeks. This is an older team, and it might not always be pretty, and it wasn't pretty in the ninth. And we kicked the ball, and credit Western Kentucky, to get some good swings and get some base runners on. But this is postseason baseball, and you got to be able to handle it. And thankfully, we got some older guys that can handle it.
Back middle. Coach, over here. Hunter's been so good since he started back in 2022. And obviously, like you said, he's an ace here now, contributing on all factors. What have you seen in him as far as improvement from when he first got to the team that's made him even better now in that role from even how good he was when he first got here?
He's like most guys that come in at 18 years old and they're freshmen. It doesn't matter if you're a Sigma Chi or you're a baseball player, right? Everybody grows up, when they're in college. And, even though he's only pitched a couple of years, he's been here for 4. And so, guy that, graduated last year. And so stuff-wise, it's kind of hard to compare too much because not only was he a freshman, but he went through an arm injury. But I think the thing that sticks with me is how much of a leader he is, how mature he is, how selfless. You can listen to him. Like, he took that, right? We gave them 2 runs, and he put it back on himself, and he said, I gave 2 runs up in the first, and I gave the lead back. That's what you want out of your ace, and that's what you want, out of your leaders, that they hold themselves accountable. And so I think that's what I've seen, that, he's grown up, and he's always been really good. The guys that have been following us for, that were here in 22, the writers here, knew he was good then. But that's another part that, makes you proud that this guy is, such the leader that he is.
Any more questions? Jason? You sounded like you were not sure about tomorrow from a pitching standpoint, but Nichols, how's he felt since?
He's good. He'll pitch. I just don't know where that'll be, and obviously we got to figure out who we're going to play first before we start, setting that out. But the good thing is, some guys got a day. McCausland got a day. The 2 left-handers got a day. Obviously Morris got a day. But you got Townsend, you got Nichols, and so we'll just have to see how it kind of plays out and where we are. So I think it's too soon. But this was a good day because we were able to give those guys a day off and get them ready for the 3 remaining games. Started to.
Anything else? Awesome. Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.